The Lord spoke. A mother heard God's warning, leaving doctors shocked. Sometimes, God speaks to us in ways we least expect, in moments of fear, uncertainty, and desperation. This is the incredible story of Cameron Cortman, a young boy whose life was saved not by medical intervention alone, but by the unwavering faith of his mother and a direct message from God. What happened left doctors stunned and reinforced the undeniable power of divine guidance. It all started when Cameron was just a toddler. He had been a healthy and active child, but one day, everything changed. He suddenly fell seriously ill, and his health began to deteriorate rapidly. His parents rushed him to the hospital, desperate for answers. Doctors were baffled. They ran every test they could think of, but nothing seemed to explain Cameron's symptoms. His condition worsened, and the doctors began to fear the worst. Cameron's mother, overwhelmed with fear and uncertainty, did the only thing she knew to do. She prayed. Late one night, as she sat by Cameron's hospital bed, she cried out to God for help. "Lord, please show me what's wrong. Please don't let me lose my son." And then it happened, a moment so profound, so clear, that she knew it could only be from God. She heard God's voice. It wasn't an audible sound, but a strong, undeniable impression in her heart and mind. God revealed to her exactly what was wrong with Cameron, something the doctors had missed. Despite feeling afraid of being dismissed or ignored, she gathered the courage to tell the medical team. "I know this sounds crazy," she said, "but God told me what's wrong with my son." The doctors were skeptical at first, but after exhausting every other option, they decided to listen. They ran a new series of tests based on what Cameron's mother had shared, and to their shock, they discovered that she was right. Cameron had a rare medical condition that had gone undiagnosed. Without immediate treatment, he wouldn't have survived much longer. The doctors quickly administered the necessary treatment, and Cameron began to recover. What had once seemed hopeless was now a miraculous turnaround, and it all started with a mother's faith and obedience to God's voice. The medical team admitted they were stunned. How could she have known? How could she have understood something so complex that even advanced medical tests had missed it? But Cameron's mother knew the answer. God had spoken. Cameron's story is a powerful reminder that God is still speaking today. He speaks in the quiet moments of prayer, in the stillness of our hearts, and through His Word. But the question is, are we listening? In John 10:27, Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." God's voice may not always come as a loud, booming sound. Sometimes it's a quiet nudge, a deep sense of knowing, or a word spoken through Scripture. But when we tune our hearts to Him, we will hear Him. And when we act in faith, even when it doesn't make sense, miracles can happen. Cameron's recovery was more than just a medical success. It was a testimony of faith and divine intervention. His mother's courage to trust what God revealed to her saved his life. The doctors, despite their years of training and expertise, had to admit that this was something beyond science. This was a miracle. God is still speaking today. He's guiding, revealing, and protecting. The challenge for us is to have the faith and courage to listen and respond. Will you trust Him even when the world says it's impossible? Will you believe even when the outcome looks bleak? If God could speak to Cameron's mother and save her son, He can speak to you too. The same God who healed Cameron is the same God who holds your life in His hands. The question is, will you listen?